Hey guys, it's Emma and I'm back today for you with another video, and today I'm going to be talking to y'all about all the TV shows that I have dropped. These TV shows I dropped for various reasons. Some of them are very objective, some of them are very subjective. Alright, I'm not adding anime into this video because I've already made a video talking about all the anime that I've quit, and so I just don't want to rehash that. I don't feel like doing that today. Before we start, I have a little disclaimer that I want to put here, okay? There's one reason that's pretty uniform throughout a lot of the TV shows that I drop, and that has to do with the depiction of sexual violence. In the specific case that I dropped these shows because of their depiction of sexual violence, I either did not like how they handled it, or I just didn't want to watch a however many second or minute long scene of somebody being sexually violated. Before we actually start, I would really appreciate it if you guys would look down in the description box for all the links there that I have for you guys pertaining to stuff going on in the world right now, particularly going on with the LA fires. And those links will be down there for you guys to interact with and to share. And down in the comment section, let me know whether or not you guys have watched these shows, whether you agree or disagree with anything I have to say about these shows, whether y'all think that I should go back and push through if they're worth it. The works, right? So that being said, let's just get right into it. So the first show I want to talk to y'all about that I dropped, all right, like a sack of rocks, is True Blood. Okay, I dropped this somewhere in the middle of season 4. Listen, there was a moment in my life where you would have asked me, Emma, what's your favorite show? And I'd have told you True Blood, hands down. All right, palms flat on the damn table. All right, now I look back on True Blood and I'm like, girl, I didn't like how True Blood handled its depictions of sexual violence, all right, particularly with Tara's rape scene, all right, where it's kind of just dropped and it wasn't really talked about again, at least that I saw, all right, and I despised that Sookie chose Eric over Tara in that situation. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Sookie, I love you, girl. I cannot keep defending you. And then Jason's rape scene, all right, it was, at least from what I gathered and what I remember, all right, it was kind of used as comedic relief, which too many people already believe that men cannot be raped, all right? We don't need that, okay? Hoyt, count your fucking days. As soon as they introduced the fairies, it just got so convoluted. Everybody started getting with everybody else, and it just started getting so muddled. And plus, and I may be biased in this, however, I personally don't believe there was enough of my man, Alcide, all right? My man, and whom? My man, all right? I was pissed that he was barely ever there. Just, wow, it's such a shame, because like I said, I loved True Blood, but girl, I dropped The Walking Dead. I dropped The Walking Dead after season 2. My reason for this is one that's pretty uniform whenever I read or watch any apocalyptic, horror, or zombie media, all right? And that's the storyline where the protagonist or protagonists in this case go and they find one safe place, right, that's been safe for however long, and one of the characters does something irrevocably stupid, causing the entire thing to just crumble, and now all of these people have to go to another safe place, and it will inevitably happen again and again and again, and it's just like, I don't want to follow a group of leeches. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and defend Herschel, all right? What he was doing was reckless and stupid, okay? However, how long had Herschel's farm been safe? And then how many days did it take for Rick's group to come in and just mess everything up? All right, and I was pissed that nobody was listening to Rick. It was really just the idea of, oh gosh, this is going to be such a repetitive storyline and I'm going to get pissed with every single character. And I was just done. And then every now and then I think, well, you know, do I want to go back and push through The Walking Dead? Yada, 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 yada. But then I get little bits and pieces of what happens later in The Walking Dead, i.e. with Glenn. Don't want to watch that, okay? I loved Glenn as a character. I don't want to watch that. The whole thing with Negan, you know, him being the one that literally smashed Glenn's head in like a pumpkin. And then apparently he gets a redemption arc. Wild to me. All right, I'm good. Oh, Grey's Anatomy. I stopped this, like True Blood, also in the middle of season 4. All right, and the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when they dead ass looked in my face and said, oh yeah, no, there is a romance between George and Izzy.
That's what the man said. You heard what he said. He said that.
You know, when Izzy cheats with George, I can't keep a straight face, on Callie. In all the ways that you have me fucked up, Izzy already got on every nerve that I had. I hated her. I hated her as a character. She annoyed me every single time. And just this whole thing seemed so out of nowhere. Like, you're telling me Izzy, of all people, has feelings for George? Are you serious? Gosh, that was just ridiculous to me. I was like, oh, great. Great, we're breaking up another happy home. And it wasn't just that, all right? Like I said, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I had been getting, like, aggravated with so many of the other characters. Like, all of these characters might as well have been line dancing on my nerves, all right? I dropped the Vampire Diaries, and this one's also very, very sad for me personally, okay? Because like True Blood, all right, Vampire Diaries was also one of my favorite shows at the time. Loved that show. I vividly remember when season 5 ended, all right, waiting with bated breath, and then when season 6 came on Netflix, I was so excited. And this is gonna sound so stupid. I dropped the Vampire Diaries because it was too emotionally devastating for me. All right, I dropped it somewhere either in the middle or beginning of season 6. I don't quite remember, but I dropped it just because it was so difficult for me to watch. It was really hard for me to watch Elena specifically mourn Damon and Bonnie, and then for everybody else to mourn Damon and Bonnie, and just how grief, you know, shaped all of them. And it was honestly so hard for me to watch that every maybe 15 minutes of the episode that I'd watch, I'd have to take like a 25-minute break. And it got to a point where I was just fed up with that. I have to watch things quickly or else I don't feel productive, and then I get down on myself, yada, 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 yada. So I dropped it. And then I remember I went back to rewatch it, and I think the Vampire Diaries is just gonna have to stay in the nostalgia thing for me. This is pretty recent. I dropped Bodyguard. All right, I dropped her like a sack of potatoes over my shoulder. All right, and you're probably looking at me like I just grew a second and third head, okay? Probably thinking, Emma, you dropped something that's named Bodyguard that has a bodyguard thing in it? Yes, I did. Alert the media. I think I dropped it somewhere in the middle of episode 3. And the reasons why I dropped it was, 1, it just seemed rushed, and 2, I didn't quite understand what our main character was doing. All right, first of all, it felt rushed because I was waiting for that tension. I was waiting for the buildup. I was waiting for a greater buildup equaling an equally as great climax, you know, where they finally kiss and it's like, oh my gosh. I'm watching it and then all of a sudden, bam, they're kissing. I'm like, whoa, this isn't adding up. And so they're making out, right? And then it leads to like this really awkward sex scene where they're both like fully clothed. It was a little much, all right? And I was like, where did it come from? Because it felt to me like it came out of nowhere. And this kind of ties into why I didn't understand what the main character was doing. For a little context, our main character, the bodyguard, all right, he's a veteran, okay? He went off to war and he came back and he has severe PTSD that drove him to alcoholism. And a lot of his friends that came back also have PTSD of some shape or form, right? Something that a lot of veterans have to deal with. I'm pretty sure we all know this. So with that being said, he is assigned to guard this woman in government, right? And so this woman that he's assigned to guard goes off and does an interview on national television, and he's obviously standing right there behind the cameras because he's guarding her. And he is a character, and we as the audience subsequently learn that this woman, okay, this woman right here, is either the reason or one of the reasons why he and a bunch of his friends and all of those veterans were sent off to war in the first place. We learn that she is a warmongerer, especially considering when she says, maybe not in these words, but paraphrasing, she essentially says, oh yeah, no, I don't really care about the veterans right now and we need more war, stat. And then fast forward 1 or 2 episodes later and they're fucking. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, warmonger pussy just must be real good, okay? Because where did that come from? And maybe it's something that, you know, I have to watch, you know, further on in the series in order for me to get why he did this. Maybe it's like a sabotage thing. Oh yeah, no, I only slept with you to get close to you type of thing. I don't know. I don't really care. It was awkward and it was off-putting. I dropped Game of Thrones. I dropped Game of Thrones like after season 6. And it's weird because there's bits that I remember about season 6 and bits that I don't. Likewise, bits that I remember about season 5 and bits that I don't. I know I watched them, but I also know that there are some episodes that I just didn't watch because of some of the stuff that I heard about them. And some of the stuff that I heard about them, all right, is some of the reasons why I dropped the show, all right? One of them being Shireen. You're gonna look me dead in my face and expect me to believe that Stannis Baratheon, this Stannis, burned his daughter alive, making complete character 180? Are you serious? The butchering of storylines and characters will never not throw me for a loop, all right? Even the stuff that I found out, all right, about seasons 7 and 8, it is so evident that the creators of Game of Thrones needed George R.R. Martin's material in order to adapt it, all right? Because otherwise, apparently, y'all being left to your own devices does not work, okay? Y'all butchered Stannis' character, y'all butchered Jaime's character, y'all butchered the Sand Snakes, y'all butchered who became king, in my humble opinion, okay? Because what do you mean, who has a better story than Bran? Literally everybody. I can give you 10 characters that are the tiniest bit more interesting than Bran, all right? One of the most boring characters on the show with one of the most boring storylines on the show, and that's y'all's fault, all right? Bran could have been awesome, but no, we wanted to make him boring because everything else was going on, so we had to drag his shit out, which was... Y'all shot yourselves in the foot, and for what? Another reason why, okay, that I dropped this show is because of its depictions of sexual violence, all right? I felt at times it was just gratuitous, all right? And you can come to me with the whole counter argument of, well, Emma, it's supposed to be based on medieval Europe, okay? And there's also dragons and zombies. All right, I'm pretty sure creative liberties are in fact a thing right here. Like particularly one of the episodes that I didn't watch that was honestly one of the straws that broke the camel's back for me was Sansa's sexual assault by Ramsay. I get it, you know, it wasn't shown all the way through, but you listened to a good bit of it. It was gross. It was gross. Honestly, the downfall of Game of Thrones should be studied, okay? Because Game of Thrones was such a colossal moment in pop culture, and then as soon as it went downhill the way that it did, crickets. Nobody was talking about it. I feel like that should be a phenomenon worth studying. I dropped Outlander 3 separate times, all right? Like, all during season 1. Couldn't get by it. Simply couldn't. And the main reason why was Claire.
We know what you did, Claire.
I despised Claire's character, all right? Because it's unfortunate, but Claire's character was written to be one of those stereotypical, I'm a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man, and therefore I'm gonna completely disregard valid safety concerns simply because it happens to come from a man, all right, and then I'm gonna go off, get captured, and then who's gonna come and save me? Oh, that's right, a man. I got why she acted like that to a degree, okay, because she came from the 40s, all right, where women had more rights, okay? And then she was transported back to a time where women were treated literally less than dogs. I get the contempt at that, and I get the biting back. However, when in Rome, all right, you don't act like that. Why? You get killed. That's how you die. You're not gonna have a buff Scottish dude there to save your ass all the time, all right? That irritated me so much. It's like, girl, you have zero sense of self-preservation. It is wild. Also, just wow, I heard about, you know, that assault scene with Jaime like towards the end of season 1. I'm good. And then I remember I tried to read the books and I was looking at the reviews on the first book, particularly on Goodreads, and people were like, damn, this one has more sexual assault than the show did. And I'm like, dude! Lastly, and this one hurts so bad, all right, I dropped Rain. And like the Vampire Diaries and True Blood, Reign was one of my favorite shows when I was in middle school and high school. I loved this show. I still go back and rewatch some episodes from the first season of the show. I loved this show. But I stopped watching after season 3, all right? And that was after Lola died. As much as I was popping open bottles of champagne at the fact that this bitch was finally dead, all right? Because I hated Lola.
I'm talking hate, hate, hate.
Lola, they could never make me like you. So while I was glad this character was finally gone, at the same time, it was in one of the dumbest ways possible, because what do you mean you genuinely thought that Mary, of all people, a woman you've literally known since y'all were girls, what do you mean you thought this woman would want you to carry out an assassination? All right, this woman who, once again, y'all have known since y'all were girls, all right, that y'all are supposed to have this amazing relationship with one another. This woman has been peaceful this entire time, has always tried to get around bloodshed. What do you mean you thought that this woman would actually order you to carry out an assassination? That was so dumb, all right? And of course Narcisse was there, and I'm thinking to myself, oh great, now Narcisse, who's already annoying as hell, all right, the two of them were meant for one another, he's gonna take revenge because, oh my gosh, Mary did this, Mary ordered her to do so. Girl, shut the hell up, all right, go eat your horse again. I get that it's supposed to be, you know, historically accurate, you know, minus the outfits, but it wasn't the same after Frances died. It just wasn't, not to me. All right, Mary and Frances were the heart of Reign. They were like the it couple for me for years. All right, and when she finally lost him, I was just, oh my gosh, it was awful. And it just wasn't the same. It's unfortunate because that was the thing that the whole show was gearing up to. And again, it's supposed to be historically accurate, which leads me to another reason why I dropped it. I didn't want to watch Mary die. I know that part of history. I know that Mary is gonna die. I don't want to watch my girl die. I don't want to watch my girl get beheaded. I don't, okay? I don't. I'm happy going back and watching season 1 and that's it. I am blissfully ignorant of anything else that happens and I refuse to be anything but. So you guys, those were all the shows that I've dropped, all right? I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that if you are like me and you feel that you are somewhat of a minority in your opinion of these shows, maybe this can serve as a little bit of camaraderie. So, you guys, with that being said, I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope you continue to look out for more stuff on my channel. I hope that you guys are staying safe. And lastly, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.